I'm the bad guy for letting my boyfriend buy me a laptop for my birthday that my parents refused to get me. I feel like I need some context because the title makes me seem like a brat. I come from a well-off family, but the only people who profit from the money are my two younger siblings. I have worked since I was 15, paid for basically everything I have accepted for rent since I live with my family. I met my boyfriend John a few years ago. I've been editing my computer since a younger age. I've always had crappy PC laptops that barely function, while my siblings get giant gaming PC rings and build PCs. I've been begging for years for my parents to help me pay for a computer so I can pursue my passion of editing and animation, since fellow editors know the struggle of a program crashing midway and losing all your progress. My computer is so bad it even lags on Netflix, so Adobe, Sony, Vegas, and all other editing softwares cannot function. My parents keep promising me a laptop, but never bought one. So I complained to my boyfriend. I will buy myself one, but as a uni student, I cannot afford it. So John offered to buy me one for my birthday next month. Since then, my parents have non-stop fought with me, demanded he does not waste his money at me, and have generally picked a ton of fights over this. He always surprised me with new headphones that my parents demanded to know the price of. And when I refuses to tell them, my mother said he shouldn't waste his money on me. Her favorite phrase, I guess. Then look it up behind my back and continue to mention how expensive they are and how I will go to waste with me. I can provide more context if needed, but this has been happening for months, and I can wrap my head around why this is such a big problem for them. So, parents spoil my siblings with all needed technology, refuse to get it for me when I'm struggling and need it. Boyfriend offers to buy it for me, causes a shitton of problems in my household. And also, just to add some context, my sister is 16, brother 8, and my mom's a teacher. I'm not entirely sure what my dad does, we rarely speak. But up until I started uni, they were extremely supportive of my editing as a hobby until it became a career choice. After I met my boyfriend, I changed my plan of becoming a teacher like my mom to film, editing, and animation. So, write in the comments below, what do you think? I'm the bad guy for telling a friend she would finish all her parents' money. I have a friend, I will call the friend Jane. Jane and I go to the same college. We have been friends for 7 years now. We're not from the USA, and it is common for parents to financially support their kids through college here. So we don't have jobs, and our parents pay for everything till we start working, so we can concentrate better on our classes. Jane has always loved shopping. If she likes something, she has to buy it, even if she cannot afford it. Jane's parents are paying her and her brother college fees, which are both pretty pricey. Jane's dad was also hospitalized for over a month and was on ventilator support for 10 days a few months ago. Even with insurance, it costs them a lot. Her parents will always ask her to spend a little less, but she will scream at them to send her more money because she bought something with her monthly allowance and has nothing left for the rest of the month. She would also come ask me for advice to spend a little less because her parents are angry at her spending habits. She always seems to cut back for a few weeks and then spends all the saved money on something huge. Her little brother, on the other hand, saves every little bit he can so her parents are not burdened by both of them, and even sends her some of his allowance. Recently, she was talking about how her parents are not giving her enough money to buy a new handbag. She said she has about half of the amount needed and she could borrow the rest, and then her parents will give her the money as they wouldn't want her to owe anyone money. This is where I might be a bad guy. I told her if she continues to do this to her parents, she will finish all of the money and then she should learn to be thankful that they were supporting her even now. She was really quiet after I said that, and hasn't said anything. I think I went too far, but she has tried to stop excessive spending many times and always goes back to her old habits. I've heard her scream at her parents for money. Our dorm doors are next to each other, and it was all too much. A lot of people said her parents were enabling her. I had a conversation with her a while ago where I mentioned that I was surprised her parents tolerate her screaming and demanding money. She said her parents know her very well and understand that she needs to come to the realization herself, since that was how she was from a young age. Since they don't cut her off as they know that it won't help her. As an example, she mentioned that when she was a kid, she sucked on her thumb and they asked her not to, but she didn't listen to them. When she started to go to school, someone made fun of her and she stopped immediately. I've tried to help her many times over the years, but I'm sad to admit I have no idea how to help her, so I think my best choice will be to distance myself, and I hope she gets better. So what do you think? I'm the bad guy for being upset that my now fiancé's family railroaded our engagement. I and my now fiancé went on a trip to Hawaii with his family in July of 2022. For the sake of the story, we will call him Michael. It was with his mom, stepdad, aunt, uncle, cousins, siblings, step-siblings, me, 2 other significant others, and his step-grandma and grandpa. I believe there were 16 or 17 of us. We all chipped in on renting a large oceanfront house for all of us to stay in. Before going to trip, Michael mentioned to me that it will be a dream to get engaged in Hawaii and asked if I would like that. I of course told him yes, I love that idea. The only surprise of the engagement was going to be time and location while on the trip. He told his dad and stepmom that he will be proposing on the trip, and they seemed really excited for us. He proposed on July 5th, I believe the 3rd day of the 7-day trip. His sister and his boyfriend were the only other people with us when he proposed. He took a pretty lonely and steep hike to a lighthouse on the top of a cliff overlooking the ocean. The other family had plans for the day and I believe were shopping while we hiked. When we got back to the house, we told everyone that we were engaged. The grandparents, aunt, uncle, cousins, and siblings were all so excited. His dad and stepmom, who are very enthusiastic and happy people normally, said a couple of congrats, with a hug and pat on the shoulder. Asked when the wedding was, which we obviously don't know. We had only been engaged for a little over an hour, and dropped it pretty quickly after that. We went to a traditional luau the next day, filled with dancing and amazing food. When the people leading the luau came over to the table and asked, what were we celebrating? His dad, who I was sitting right next to, answered with, this is the last state Grandma and Grandpa had to visit to have traveled to all 50 states, and smiled. She said, that is amazing. I spoke up and said, me and Michael got engaged yesterday as well. His dad chimed back and said, oh yeah, that too. During family pictures in the next couple of days, I was hoping to get a few pictures of just me and Michael with a nice camera that his sister had. It was not a hired professional, and whenever I asked throughout the 2-ish hours of family pictures, his dad and stepmom acted like there wasn't time for me. We ended up getting 3 pictures with my iPhone camera. The last day of the trip, we were all sitting down and eating a family dinner. It was Michael's sister's boyfriend's birthday. He was mentioned many times that he hates celebrating his birthday and gets very uncomfortable when people as much as mention it. At the start of dinner, they bring our cards signed by everyone, and everyone is beating on the table and screams singing happy birthday to him. I think they even brought a cake out with candles, but I can't remember exactly. His face was red, and you couldn't tell he was embarrassed and a little annoyed, as they know he hates his birthday being celebrated. Following this, his dad and uncle were talking about all of the amazing things that happened on the trip, like family time, snorkeling, parasailing, celebrating and grandparents seeing all 50 states, zip lining, celebrating the 4th of July, etc., etc., etc. They mentioned every single thing that happened on the trip except mine and Michael's engagement. At the end of the list, Michael spoke up thankfully and said, "And getting engaged." And they said, "Oh, yeah, that as well, of course." I had already mentioned to Michael, after our engagement, that his family really seems to brush it under the rug, and everything else was more important. I know this sounds a bit bitchy and entitled, but I'm really close with his family, and we have always had a large, great relationship, and I feel hurt by this dismissal of it all. After this dinner, I went upstairs and broke down crying. I asked him if his parents were upset at us about something, or if I made them mad, or if something was wrong. I wasn't expect them to throw a party for us or anything, but a signed card at the minimum would have meant a lot. I told him I don't understand why they go all out of Sam's birthday when they know he hates that, but don't do anything for our engagement. Michael told me that I was right about everything that was happened. His family did or didn't do, but that I shouldn't be upset over it. I always see his family having an engagement party or surprises right after engagement, or at least a truthful card. Have a great relationship with his family, always have, and they have always been generous and supportive of us. For any other occasion, they always make a big deal out of it until now. And it felt like a slap in the face, so I'm the bad guy for being upset that our engagement got railroaded. I'm the bad guy for cutting contract with my family because they didn't show up to my show. Hello, I'm a 24 female. I opened up my first business 5 months ago. I spent months remodeling my shop and countless hours pouring my heart and soul into this place. I was so proud of it. And all I wanted was for my dad and his side of the family to just see it, even if it was once. I invited them multiple times. Each time, they said they would come and didn't tour a little piece of me anyway. Now a little backstory. My dad has always been my weakness. It has been up and down my whole life, to where he's the best father at times, and sometimes he's the worst. He's always turned me down, and I can never stay away. I always put my feelings on the back burner. This time I show all my feelings down and suck it up and invited him to my first show. I told him multiple times months before, and I messaged him in the group chat 3 days before the times and the address, and gently stressed the importance of it and what it means to me. They all messaged it back and said they will come. Now flash forward to the first day of the show, no one from his side came. I messaged again and let them know what there's 1 day left, and again told them how important it was. Same story, they all said they will come. My husband received a text the last day saying, "Sometimes in life, there are things that happen that make us miss important days." Now, I don't know what you're thinking. Maybe it was far away. It was not. They were all 15 minutes away and the show was free. This broke me. I think all the last 13 years of missing important life events and him putting anyone and everyone in front of me finally crashed down, because this time I'm just done. Flash forward to a few weeks. My husband and I were talking, and he brought up that maybe my dad doesn't know why I'm so upset. So my sweet, beautiful husband, who avoids confrontation like the plague messages, my father, and pours his heart and soul into a very detailed, lonely message explaining why I'm so upset. This was my father, 3 responses. Well, she could have called me on Mother's Day. That was a hard day for me. He lost his parents 8 months ago, and I had already cut contact before Mother's Day. I was suicidal. Now I'm a firm believer in man's mental health, and I do not take what he said lightly. But my father has said this to me 3 times in my life. Every single time has been after he messed up so monumentally bad, there is no way out. Regardless, this is a part of the story that is weighing heavily on me. The third is that his ex-wife, my mother, was there supporting me. They have been divorced for 15 years and have always been civil. Through all of it, his wife, my stepmother, has been acting incredibly childish. She has been sending me ruthless text messages after she realized I was serious about cutting contact after not showing up to my stepsister's graduation. Now she's furious that I missed someone important life event. And honestly, I don't care. My stepsister wasn't innocent in the part she played in hurting me. She was 4 minutes away that last day at the show. Today is the day that I snap back. Today my stepmom sent nasty messages to my husband. I lost it all this point and told them to leave me alone. I just need space. I'm tired of fighting for someone that has never put me first. And of course, they have fighting tooth and nail for winning against for my stepsister. I'm just so tired. I'm at the bad guy for wanting the wedding of my dreams. Recently, I got engaged to my boyfriend of 2 years. I told my parents everything I have always wanted in a wedding. Sunflowers, a barn, not completely outside, and more. They were fine with it until the night I got engaged. No congratulations or happiness. Didn't even show up after I told them I wanted them to be there for my engagement. The night I got engaged, they wanted to start planning everything while I wanted to just take the weekend to celebrate. They let me have the wedding to celebrate with friends and my fiancé's family, and everything was fine until I came home. They bombarded me with venues to look at, not even asking about the engagement. I told them I created my own list of venues to look at. They showed all of them and told me I could only pick from their list. I only looked 2 on their list of 5, but we still visited all of them. The 2 that I like on their list are their least favorites. One of them is too expensive, which I respect, and the other has no AC. The other venues on their list that they love and I don't like are all outdoor venues. When we went on the tours, my mom was telling the guide she was going to book it without my consent. I'm bothered because why does it? No AC barn matter if you want me to get married outside anyways. Why did you put the other venue I like on your list if it's too expensive? They manipulate me by saying since they're paying for a wedding, they're going to choose everything and I need to respect their budget, which I do. But I was just trying to tell them which venues I like of the list that they literally gave me. There have been screaming matches between us because now they don't like flowers I want, the colors I want, and the amount of bridesmaids I want. They want me to have 4, which means 3 sisters and 1 friend, while I wanted 3 sisters and 3 friends. I don't know what to do. I don't want a wedding venue that I hate, and I don't want to end up resenting my parents for giving me a fancy wedding when all I wanted was a barn. So, I'm the bad guy here.